if Netflix decides to give Zack Snyder a budget and they say, okay, we're going to give you an opportunity to finish your storyline or finish whatever it was that you think, because in Zack Snyder's universe, Darkseid exists in his universe already. So if that was the whole project and the whole plan to introduce Darkseid, to have those battles with it, that is what a Doomsday. You got Doomsday. You already introduced Doomsday. You already introduced Darkseid. So like, I'm just saying, like, there's always been a whole lot of iterations of Superman, whether it's Smallville, whether it's Lois and Clark, whether it's whatever. So there's been a multitude of iterations. So one doesn't stop the other, is what I'm saying. So if they're continuing to do what they're doing with the makeshift Superman guy that they have now, Tyler, what? Well, no, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know where that came in. With the makeshift Superman, then I don't see why Henry Cavill, if he's interested, wants to come back and finish those movies that Zack Snyder had on the docket. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. I hadn't thought about that, having like two different DC situations happening in different mediums. Yeah, I'm here for that if that's the case. My thought was like, okay, if they've already kind of closed that chapter, there's no way they can bring it back in that way and make it make sense. But if there's two different things happening, I'm here for that, because I would prefer him over the other Superman. So you know what I mean?
I've heard rumblings about there possibly being a second Brightburn coming. So and I don't know how true that is, but if that happens, and now you have, because the only way that you can cross over, and I'm being honest here, the only way that you can cross over the Brightburn universe to the Superman universe is if you use Zack Snyder's iterations. Because otherwise, you're taking a very dark universe in Brightburn and trying to mix it with a not so dark universe in terms of the way that James Gunn is going with the Superman, Supergirl, Lobo thing. It doesn't seem nearly as dark as the Brightburn series. But Zack Snyder's the Snyderverse did. The Snyderverse had Superman in his black costume, and that when like, I still remember that scene where he's on the ship and he's fighting Darkseid's acolyte. And he pulls up in that black suit. Yeah, when he's like, oh, there he is, there. No, and Gadot is like, Kal-El, and then all of a sudden that nigga just starts. All of the ground starts moving around him. I was like, there were aspects of the Snyderverse that were really good, and there was aspects of the Snyderverse that was really bad. If he can find a way to kind of limit the bad parts and kind of further the good parts, I think there was something there. There was definitely something there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something there. It's just the fact that they fumbled all the way through it. Like they did Justice League, and then they had to make the Snyderverse, which was 2 versions, and then they updated. Yeah. Like, you don't have to remake. There was no, this is the Avengers Snyderverse. This is the Feige of They made it once and it was enough, And so that's the thing. That's why I think that the Gunn verse is trying to like establish a whole new brand that just moves forward with one vision, instead of having Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder both give their visions of Superman and the Justice League and whatnot. So, and I'm gonna keep it real. Like, as much as I wanted to go into that Superman movie hating it, I liked it.